Thanks a
All
lot.
right, so we are continuing to follow breaking news regarding Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He says that fighting will resume in the Gaza Strip unless Hamas releases its hostage. They've given a deadline of Saturday. Hamas said that they cut off the release of 3 more hostages on Saturday because Israel, they say, violated their ceasefire agreement. So think about this. Let's do some timing here. That news broke while this meeting was about to happen. President Donald Trump meeting with the King of Jordan, King Abdullah there. Mr. Trump continued to talk about his pressure on Arab nations to take in Palestinians as part of what he has promised of taking over Gaza. Let's listen in.
We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it. We're going to get it going eventually where a lot of jobs are going to be created for the people in the Middle East. It's going to be for the people in the Middle East, but I think it could be a diamond. It could be an absolute tremendous asset for the Middle East, and you're going to have peace. It's going to bring peace in the Middle East.
So let's bring in CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Kealy. Welcome, Courtney. Okay, so he was asked by what authority? He said by U.S. authority. But we have to keep in mind, what about the will of the Palestinian people, 2 million Palestinian people?
Absolutely. This is called the right of return, and this has been something that's been ongoing and in the Geneva Peace Conventions of 1948, also in the UN. This has also been something that they've never gotten to in final status talks after Oslo basically crumbled in 2000 during the Second Intifada. But it's one of the main pillars of peace. Now, Palestinians, there are refugees in Lebanon that they've been through multi-generations in different wars, same as Syria, and there's 60% of the Jordanian population is Palestinian. The Palestinian problem has bedeviled the region for all this time, and many say unless this problem gets solved, there will be no prosperity or peace anywhere in the Middle East. It's the crux of everything. And the last time President Trump was president, his first term, he did go through with that Abraham Accords, which left the Palestinians out of the equation. Now with the Gaza war, now with this tenuous ceasefire, with President Trump saying that U.S. will hold this, cherish this land, and the Palestinians will be given land elsewhere, that's really a non-starter for any of the Arab states. And King Abdullah at this meeting that we just saw them sitting in the Oval Office, talking ahead of their longer discussion, tried to put this as diplomatically as possible, saying that they have a great relationship, avoiding that third rail of politics, that discussion really of Palestinians, but just basically saying and referring to that there's going to be an emergency Arab summit on February 27th. So this is all on the table. This is not going to be something that the Arab countries will allow or that they will take these Palestinians in.
Well, and if you did a word count between what President Donald Trump said and what the King of Jordan, Mr. Abdullah, had to say, you would see that the lion's share of the talking was done by President Donald Trump. When the King of Jordan was asked about this, he had one word that he kept saying over and over, and that is Egypt. How does Egypt factor into this?
Well, Egypt and Jordan both have their peace deals with Israel, and they've been critical partners and protectors of the state of Israel, while other countries have been at war. And the Iran nexus, you had the Hamas and Hezbollah nexus and the Iranians and the Shia Crescent. So with the Egyptian Camp David Accords that established peace during President Carter, with the peace that was established between Jordan and Israel 30 years ago, and Jordan and Egypt get a lot of money and assistance from the U.S. to keep the peace, really, and also keep regional stability. So you have intelligence sharing with these leaders, the general, as President Trump referred to him the other day, General Sisi of Egypt and King Abdullah of Jordan. They also want to keep their countries from spilling over into any kind of extremist conflict themselves. So it's not just money for aid and military assistance, it's keeping their countries secure and keeping any spillover extremism from toppling their presidency or their kingdom, and also being aligned with Israel. So all of this is fragile and tenuous, but it's something that the U.S. has also said they haven't cut aid to Jordan and Egypt. President Trump is not threatening to cut aid. For instance, Jordan gets $1.6 billion in aid, approximately. Egypt gets something similar. And it's a lot of, like I said, intelligence sharing. It's not just keeping the peace and stability. It's also a relationship that's critical in terms of national security for all three countries.
Well, and now the news that broke during that meeting between the king and the president, Benjamin Netanyahu, really reinforcing what President Donald Trump said, that if all hostages are not released by Saturday, all hell will break loose. So you talk about tenuous, you talk about fragile on many fronts there. Courtney Kealy, thank you so much for those thoughts.